Okay, it's time for my fireside chat warm-up. La la la, la la la. Ready to go? Hi friends and neighbors, it's Jessica Side here with Everreal, and today we're going to have a fireside chat. And I wanted to get this out here as soon as possible because I hear this a lot and I have to answer this question a lot. Is wintertime a good time to sell my house? Or sometimes it's more of a statement where people say, I'm going to wait until springtime to sell my house. And I wanted to, I kind of gathered all of my thoughts. I put them on the sheet of paper. I got myself some notes. We're going to very quickly go through 2 truths, 3 myths, and then some challenges and hopefully some tips for people who are thinking about selling in the wintertime. Okay? So here we go. So 2 truths. The first truth, and this is very important, inventory is lower in the wintertime than it is in the summertime. If you look at a chart, you're going to see that starting in August, inventory starts to drop off. Now, what does that mean for you as the seller? This is really important. What it means for you as a seller is you have less competition out there. So your house will rise above the rest because the rest are hibernating and waiting until spring. So for that reason, it's a good time to sell in the wintertime. Now, truth number 2. Truth number 2 is that the buyers that are actually out there looking for houses are not tire kickers. They're not just people kind of looking and thinking about selling and maybe, or thinking about buying and maybe we should and maybe we shouldn't. These are people that are serious about buying a house. So you may have fewer showings, but those people that are coming to look at your house are actual viable buyers because they're not going to walk around in Spokane area, snow and cold just for the fun of it. They're serious. So before we talk about anything else, it's important that we understand these 2 truths. That number 1, the inventory is down, which means your competition is waiting until spring, so your house is going to stand out. And number 2, the buyers that are out there are quite serious about buying. They're not just looky-loos. All right, so let's talk about the 3 myths. And these are extremely important that we dispel. The number 1 is that if I sell my house in the wintertime, I'm going to get less money for my property. This is wholly untrue. And if you look at the chart, so we looked at the chart that showed that from August to December that the amount of houses goes down in a steep curve, right? Also sales go down in a steep curve. However, and that makes sense, right? Because we have fewer buyers and fewer sellers in the market. So of course, those 2 charts are going to go down. However, let's look at the chart on prices of homes. Those stay very, very flat. There's a little bit of fluctuation, as you can see, but it is nominal. It does not follow that same curve down. And I think that's important for people to understand, that you will not get less for your property just because you sell it in the wintertime. Myth number 2 is that my house is not going to show as well in the wintertime. Yes, we all love it when the grass is green and the flowers come out. But let's not underestimate the power of holiday charm, people, because when your tree is up and lit and you've got decorations and you've got gingerbread cookies in the oven, that property can show fantastically well. Now, obviously, that's holiday. If it's not the holidays, just make sure things are clean and warm and that the exterior is also clean, because I can look at a yard in the wintertime and go, wow, that's going to be beautiful in the summertime or in the springtime. You know, cleaning up the leaves, cleaning up the garden, all of those things are obviously very, very important. But a house can show fantastically well in the wintertime. And myth number 3. Myth number 3 says that I'm going to have to show my house way too often, and I don't want to do that during the holiday season or even in the winter because of the snow and the rain and all of that. So first thing to note is that there are going to be fewer buyers in the market, so you probably have fewer showings with those serious buyers. Number 2, let's not forget that they're also doing things with their families on Christmas and Christmas Eve and Thanksgiving and all of the holidays that we all love to celebrate. So they're not going to be asking to see it on those days. And the most important thing is you are in control. you can control who comes in and out of your house. It's very easy for me as a real estate professional to negotiate that and talk to someone and say, you know, they've got something tonight or they have something today that they can't show the house, but they would love to show it to you tomorrow or the next day. Can we schedule it for a time that makes sense for both of us? And we can almost always find a time that works for everybody in this situation. The other thing that we can do in case you're concerned about the snow and the water and things like that is that we always make available a sign and some booties. The sign says, please take off your shoes or put on these booties. And that way we can avoid any kind of dirty feet coming into your house. So those are the 3 myths. I won't get as much money, my house won't look as good, and there are going to be too many buyers walking through my house. All of those things are myths that potentially are stopping you from getting your house on the market in a season that can be fantastic for selling the house. So let's talk about the challenges, because there certainly are some challenges when it comes to selling. And actually, I think it all revolves around moving. Moving in the wintertime can be challenging. I know that because 2 years ago, the day before Christmas Eve, we moved with some movers into this house. And there was some stress that came along with that. My son Ethan and I on Christmas Eve morning unpacked like crazy people, so at least our living room, our kitchen, and our dining room, which is our great room here, felt clean for Christmas morning. But the rooms were a disaster. So one of the things that I did in this situation, first of all, it was easy to get movers because they didn't have as much business either. And then the thing that I did that really, really helped because of the cold and the wet and the rain is I got those big rolls of brown paper and I taped those along all the paths, downstairs, upstairs, into the different rooms. So anybody walking into my house from the rainy, cold day that it was wasn't getting water all over my, my floor, which was really, really nice. Other things that you can do, you can certainly control the closing. You could push out that closing date until spring. Now that doesn't always work for everyone, but it's a possibility. One of the challenges that I think needs to be addressed, and it's something that is a challenge probably for every seller who has to also buy another house. You don't really want to make the buying of your house to be contingent on the selling of your house. And so I have seen a lot of people who just decide, I'm going to sell now, I am going to move into a short-term rental, and then I'm going to buy later. And your buying power is stronger when you're competing with other buyers if it's not contingent on the sale of your house. Now, obviously, there are ups and downs and pros and cons to that, but it certainly is something that you could consider. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you're thinking about selling a house in the wintertime, I'm hoping that this will help you have conversations around it so you can decide what's best for you and your family. But I did want to make sure that I dispelled some of those myths that could be stopping you from selling in what can be a very good time of year to sell a property. Thanks so much, and if you do have any questions or would like to do some kind of a consultation with us, please reach out to one of the brokers that works with me. Go to everreal.com. You might actually just know their phone number, so give them a call. Or you can call our main number, which is 509-62-HOUSE. All right? Have a fantastic day and a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Cheers.